Dave, you had a CBC article
Yes.
I think you wanted to touch on that was
Yes. I mean, it's more, it's something to chat about and how it can maybe parlay or affect real estate, but also for getting people's opinions on whether they think it's a good program, one that's going to, benefit or not. But it's looking at, there's a bill right now that's been tabled in the House of Commons that is working its way through for a basic income, a basic living wage for all Canadians ages, I believe it's 17 and up, whether you're resident, permanent resident, a refugee, really falls under everything. It's almost $17,000 per single individual, $24,000 per couple, and an additional $6,000 for disability. So what that disability, what constitutes or falls under that disability, really not sure. I don't know that that's been really outlined, but really they tested it with CERB. That was really where the idea for CERB came from, because it was already being talked about with the current government and prior, and now is actually a tabled bill. And like I said, it's actually getting pretty far along. My kind of thinking on it is number one is we already don't have a balanced budget, and where's the money coming from, and how many people are going to take advantage of this or that should not. We saw that with CERB. But then how does that affect income? We've got people that are employed, our employers now having to basically just add an additional 17,000 basically on everyone's income, which then is boosting up cost of living anyways, and then boosting up what people qualify for on a mortgage, which then puts up housing prices. And how that parlays. I think it's an interesting
so
bill.
UBI would be provided to all citizens, right? Like, it's not just the people, unless that's specific to that bill, but the standard UBI is for everyone. Like, everyone would get it regardless of your income. Like, everyone gets the UBI. So it's just like a base amount. Like, from what I've read about it, I didn't even know this model existed until like 5 or 6 years ago, and it kind of piqued my interest because it was just something new. And obviously, there's many different ways to run societies, and people have tried many different ways over the years, and this is definitely one of them. The pros, from what I understand, is obviously poverty and inequality reduction. So the hope is that, with a guaranteed income, that people can cover their basic needs, food, clothing, etc., housing, which would decrease poverty levels. And then the second main thing is the freedom to choose your work. So the hope is that with UBI, you can kind of pursue jobs that you're truly passionate about or take time to learn new skills. Now, whether people do that, I don't think that happens often, but that is the thought process. And then the negative is obviously the high cost. Like, the implementation of it is, requires substantial funding, and obviously higher taxes, increased national debt, et cetera. And then potential for inflation, which we're trying to combat right now. So, adding to inflation in a time when we're trying to battle inflation would be, pouring gas on the fire. But we will see. I can't really say if I'm for or against it right now. It's very, there's a lot of bullet points that you would have to work through. But like you said, I think COVID was an interesting trial, I guess, of that. And it wasn't necessarily for everyone, but for the people that needed it. And even at that, people abused it. So in this case, I think it is a bit different because everyone does get it. So people would the people that don't need it might reinvest it or donate it, or, it might increase social services.
But are you taxed on that?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I mean, it would be minimal, but I'm just wondering how.
I mean, at that level of, just shy of 17,000, I don't believe that, if that's the only income you're earning.
Yeah, if you're earning,
then that's under the threshold. But any others, and for sure it's being added on and being adding to your income and being taxed on.
But directly related to housing, you're right. Like, if every single person has a $20,000 bolster to their income, it's going to help them qualify for more, which is just going to drive up prices further, right?
Yeah.
And if it causes further inflation, that means interest rates are also going to continue to go up. So it's kind of like, you can't have everything, right? Like we were saying before, like, if rates come down, prices go up. Well, if you give everyone more money, prices are going to go up, and probably rates are going to go up due to that inflation, at least the variable rates.
Yeah, it's just it's something that I came across. I mean, like you said, I guess this was tabled in 2021. I hadn't seen any articles, and they've just really started a number of articles coming out this past few days. And anyways, I found it interesting just, as an overall for what effects it'll have, to your point, Paul, of, on poverty and everything like that, but then also on employment, who's doing what jobs, are people going to want to work certain jobs, and then also, correlating to, what we're on here talking about is on real estate, like what that impact has. And
thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe because we'd really like that.